Welcome back. I'm excited to bake with you today. Forgive my appearance. We have been crazy busy all day long doing cleaning and baking and organizing, and we're also continually going outside because we have squirrels that are getting into our chicken food, so we're trying to catch that and stop that. So I don't want to pay to feed the wildlife, but I don't mind paying to feed the things that give me eggs and stuff. So anyways, at some point today, I didn't know about videos or what was going to happen. There's a verse in Psalms 46, I think, that says, "Be still and know that I am God." And that makes you think about all the times the Lord says to slow down, be still, take a minute, take a beat. So I've kind of driven my family crazy today with like, today's the day, we got to organize, we got to do this. They have been busting their tails. They've been working so hard for me. And then it hits you, hey, you also need to calm down, be still, take a breath. So I wanted to do something nice for them. Amelia's favorite cookie is the pumpkin cookie with the cream cheese frosting. We did Audrey's favorite cookie, which is the white chocolate chip macadamia nut. And so today I thought, I'm going to make the pumpkin cookies. And I thought, you know what, even though I don't feel like I look very good, and I've got probably the oldest t-shirt that I own on that says, personally, I think Romeo and Juliet could have handled the situation better, which I teach my kids, especially when we get into literature, the Shakespearean portion, about thinking through problems and not jumping to conclusions. Anyways, bunny trail, maybe a reminder to you when you are crazy busy to just stop and take a minute and do something really nice for yourself and for your family. Because this is a treat for me too. I don't mind baking. I actually really enjoy it. And so it's kind of meditative sometimes, and you can ponder, problems that you have you need to spend time thinking on, or, the Bible verses that kind of are sticking with you lately. And then in the end of it, you get a nice treat. And even though it's sugar and butter, it's still healthier than if you went to the store and bought a preservative-filled, bleached, artificial, cookie. So this is a fresh, delicious, wonderful cookie, perfect for fall, which, as you know, is my favorite season. So enjoy baking pumpkin cookies with me today. It's a simple recipe, it's quick, but it tastes really good, and it's fun to share and eat seasonally. You can make these all year long, but I really enjoy recipes that are highlighted in the season that you're in. Everybody's got their Christmas cookies that they love, and there's so many, and we'll do some this year. But there's fall baking. Spring is easy because you can bring in all of the citrus fruits, all the fresh, bright flavors, but savory, kind of pumpkin-y things are very fall. So, and I don't really enjoy pumpkin coffee that they have. My sister does, she loves it. But I do enjoy pumpkin cookies and pumpkin bread. So if you guys want, we can do some pumpkin bread. But today, come with me as we make cookies. Okay, because I feel like I look a mess today, we're just gonna look in here. So first thing, we're gonna have 2 sticks of butter softened, not melted. And to that, we'll add a cup of sweetener of choice. I'm going to use honey granules, which is the sucanat with honey, or evaporated cane juice with honey. We want to just knead those together until it's changed color and it's kind of light and creamy. So however long it takes, we're just going to keep going until it's light and creamy. Okay, that's been going a few minutes. See how it's nice and fluffy? The texture's changed. Been a few minutes of going around. But that's what we're going for, to really have incorporated the butter and the sweetener of choice. All right, to this we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon however heaping you like to do. If you like cinnamon a lot, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. You know me and cinnamon, so. And then a teaspoon of, I found this pumpkin pie spice. This is actually really nice to add to cinnamon rolls during this time of year. All right, we're gonna add 1 egg. I always add egg in a separate bowl in case something's wrong with the egg. I did that with store-bought ones too before we had chickens, because I've had a few that have had problems. A teaspoon of vanilla. Oh. Maybe a bit more than a teaspoon there. That's okay, vanilla's good. Two cups of, I'm using soft white wheat, but whatever you guys want to use. I'm tapping it to kind of settle it in because the freshly milled flour is quite airy. Sometimes you need to add a little bit more than what they say because it's so fluffy and fresh. It's not quite 2 cups of like all-purpose flour, how most ingredients call for all-purpose flour. But I'm going to wait till the end to see if I want to add more or not. Okay, and then we want a cup of pumpkin puree, canned pumpkin, or if you can your own. I'm using organic Green Valley. I think I got it at Costco. Oh, that sprayed everywhere. The can is 15 ounces, so it's too much, but I can find things to add this to. Wish I could figure out a way to be able to add the whole can and keep the ratios the same. Or found a smaller can, I guess. I am tired from my day's work. I'm making such a mess today. Forgive my clumsiness. Okay, I'm going to let this mix. I feel like I for sure want to add a little bit more flour, but we'll see. I'm going to just sprinkle in 1/8 a cup of flour, so that's 2 tablespoons. Then 1 tablespoon more. I know what I'm looking for. I know what it's supposed to look like. So you want to preheat your oven now that it's going to 350 degrees. Yeah, that's good. It's a battery kind of cookie dough, but this looks about right. See, it can stick, I guess I should do it that way, to this. If you hold it up, it'll stay on. All right, everything's been mixed. We like how the dough or batter, however you say for cookies. I say dough for kind of chocolate chip cookies that are more sticky. This is more of a battery dough to me, I guess. I don't know. So I have my big scoop here, and it doesn't say what it is. I don't know if it's 1.5 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons, but it's a bigger one. You can do any size cookie you like. Just make sure you have space around each one because they do spread out a bit. So, and I try and really make sure with a wetter dough, batter, whatever you want to say, things spread quickly in the oven, but then they bake nice and fluffy and makes it really nice. But just make sure they're all the same size. So what I do is kind of scoop, and then I always have my spatula and scrape it. So pretty much as best I can get them out around the same size. So even on this big sheet, I'm just going 3 across. I ended up with one more smaller tray of cookies, but I only want to bake 2 at a time, so I just put that in the fridge. I actually put these in the fridge too because it's still warm here and it's a very moist batter dough, so I just wanted it to be as cold as it could getting into the oven. So we're baking at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. The key that you want to look for is that, you know how when cookies are baking you can see that moisture on top? Because they're very light and airy cookie, we don't want to overbake them and make them dry. So as soon as you see that moisture right on the top kind of go away, then we'll pull them out. So that's about 10 minutes for me. However your oven is, you know, just keep an eye on it because they don't really turn kind of a brown like a normal cookie with a pumpkin in it. Just something about that changes. So just look for that moisture on top. While our delicious cookies are baking, we're going to prepare my daughter's favorite part, the cream cheese frosting. So what we're going to need is a stick of butter, pretty much room temperature, not melted for sure. So I'm just going to take that out so it'll be easier. And then I get everything off. I hate wasting. So a stick of butter, for those that don't have sticks, is 4 ounces or 113 grams of unsalted butter. Sorry about that. And then this is 8 ounces of cream cheese. That's how we package it in America. In probably the most convoluted packaging that always rips right at the end when you think you're going to get it. And this is also at room temperature. Okay, a teaspoon or whatever you like of vanilla. I have been baking so much lately, this is so dirty, I've got to clean it. I'm going to start to whisk this together just to get it more soft than it is and just kind of moved around. And then we'll add 3 cups of powdered sugar, slowly so it doesn't everywhere. Okay, I had to wash some stuff off my hands here. Okay, so I'm going to start slow, just get it moving, then I'm going to speed it up to kind of get some air in there, then I'm going to slow it down and add some powdered sugar. One thing I like about, no matter what kind of mixer you have with the beaters, you always seem to have to scrape down the sides, which is fine. These beaters are amazing. They make it really easy to get to the sides, so it's not too much extra effort to scrape down. you just pop it right back on. So 1 cup. I'm going to mix it a little bit faster, then add the second one, slow it down. Two. Three. That's the cookies. Alright, so I'm going to stop this for a second and just scrape towards the bottom. I think it's done a great job of mixing, but I would rather find out now. There's a little spot than when I'm trying to frost the cookies and then have to do it by hand really fast. Seems like this did a really good job of mixing. There's no clumps of butter or dry spots of the powdered sugar. It's pretty good. Ooh. So if you feel it's too loose, because you want a nice thick frosting, because it's so ooey gooey and good, but also it kind of, I don't know, the thicker frosting works better with this kind of cookie. You can add a little bit more powdered sugar if that's what you're feeling like. You know, maybe your butter was a little bit bigger or your cream cheese a little bit more. Then make it however you want it. This is a good texture right now. You hold it up, it's very thick on the spatula. I think this is perfect. Tastes delicious. So I'm going to let this mix just to get a little bit of air in there and call it good. So if you want to adjust, maybe you want to add a little pinch of salt. That actually brings out a lot of flavor. I have one daughter who's not a fan of that. I like a salted chocolate or a salted caramel. So adding salt to this is yummy, I think, and it kind of brightens all the flavors up. But up to you, your choice. At this point, play how you see fit. You can also add a couple of sprinkles of that pumpkin pie spice, or put some cinnamon in here at this point just to kind of add a little extra flavor if you want. Okay, I have help with frosters, although who knows if they're helping for the frosting or helping to frost, but I wanted to show you something. So this is all the same cookie batter at the same time. I put these in the freezer because I only like to bake with 2 pans at a time in the oven, 2 racks going. Any more in my oven and it's too much. They don't bake evenly. So these were in the freezer, and see how much higher they are. It's the same batter and I used the same scooper and did it the same way. So maybe freezing them will help them keep their height there. So I'm going to put these to the side because they're still warm. And you don't want to frost warm cookies because the frosting will just melt right off. So we have 12 cookies each, 2 bowls, and they're going to frost their own cookies. And they just feel so light and airy, but you can feel a sponginess to them. And we all kind of like slightly underbaked cookies, so they're a little bit more moist inside than normal. So that's just how we prefer our cookies. So we are going to frost some cookies and get back to you.
Yum!
Yum! And taste some cookies, I'm sure. But we'll wait for the camera for that, right? All right. I'll get your plates. Frost away. All nice and frosted. So now it's time for a yummy taste test. But I wanted to say, so there's always extra frosting, unless you're a very thick froster. I just put this in a little glass Tupperware container in the fridge, and then if you want to put more frosting on when you're going to eat cookies, you can, or there's always something to put some frosting on. My husband, it's one of his favorite things ever, right honey?
Yep.
He loves these cookies and he loves cream cheese frosting, so maybe even on toast, which is okay. All right, let's try these things. This is Amelia's favorite cookie. Are they good? Do they pass muster? Good. Will you turn yours so you can see? So this is a cakey kind of a cookie. It's very squishy and moist on the inside. They are so delicious, just light and fluffy, and they're just bursting with the fall flavor of pumpkin and cinnamon. Oh my goodness. They didn't crow at all when we turned the camera off. The second we turned the camera on. Anyways, these are delicious. Thank you for joining me today in our very busy, very taxing day, but there are always days like that where everything in the house needs to be done in one day because it's the only free day you have. So it's nice to have a treat in the middle of the day. And these were really quick to make, honestly. They only baked 10 minutes each, I believe, 10 minutes, and then it took less than 10 minutes to put together. And while they're baking, you make the frosting. So I mean, less than half an hour, you've got a delicious, yummy treat to give to everybody and share together and give you energy for all the rest of the work we have to do today. So thank you so much for taking a beat out of the day to, just like the Bible tells us, be still and know that I am God, right? So we take a moment to thank God for the house we have to clean and thank Him for the ingredients we had to make the cookies, and take a breath. I want you to know I am praying for you. I am so thankful for you. I really enjoy doing these videos for you and reading your comments and just being involved together. So thank you for allowing me into your home and baking with you. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week.